Hello, I am Uma Kanjilal, Professor and Head, Department of Library and Information Science from Indira Gandhi National Open University. In this session, I will be talking to you about economics of digital libraries. Now, before we look into the economics part of it, let us first understand the advantages of digital libraries over the traditional libraries. The interesting thing is that digital library is something which is available anywhere. One can remotely access from anywhere. It reduces delay. Real-time access is possible. You need not have to travel long places to access digital content. Your library content. Then the other thing is the distributed storage. It need not be in a centralized location. It could be anywhere. And in fact, nowadays we are talking about cloud computing and content being hosted anywhere in the world. Cross references are possible, so you can actually link one document to the other. Full text search is possible, which means the content it's not just navigating the or the bibliographic details being provided. Even you get access to the full text search, and then this information source are protected. It is available in a secured form. And also one can actually use wide exploration of and exploitation of information in a wider way distribution. It could be distributed to anywhere. Another interesting thing is if we look digital libraries versus the traditional libraries, in fact, maybe the concept, we have moved from the analog to the digital form, but basic concepts of libraries still remain. But only thing is that it becomes more efficient and helps in providing qualitative services because it's available real time and one can access from anywhere, as I've been just talking in the last slide. Then the other interesting thing is long-term preservation of content, which is not possible in traditional library, this has a importance especially for the historical and cultural documents whose lifespan may be limited, and physical decay is possible in case of digital analog content. Another thing is information retrieval and delivery, which is more comfortable and users can access anywhere from any part. And just going through a keyword search, one can get searching. One need not have to go through a cumbersome process of searching content. Then also it has a strong focus on management of digital content, as we have been doing in the case of traditional libraries, focusing for management of the content in physical form. Similarly, we talk about managing the content in the digital form. Now, coming to the economics of digital libraries, first we need to understand whether the digital content that we are talking about or the digital objects that are part of the digital library, are they actually having the characteristics which can be, which has an economic value. That is what we need to look into. And if we see that, yes, they have those values because they are cheaply shareable, one can actually transport and share it with anyone. It has the value of increase, and which increases with the accumulation, and it increases at more than a linear rate as it grows. In fact, exponential growth is possible in case of digital content. Another interesting thing is its characteristics of self-generating. It can be expanded and self-generating, and even the users can create content. That is something very interesting part of a digital library. Then it is also cost independent and has nothing to do with the scale of application. So another interesting thing is that it is indivisible and it has the efficiency for shared rather than independent accumulation. So what are the major characteristics of digital objects? If we look into that, it has a variety of intangible objects as an external object, like in the form of e-publications, e-journals, e-books, multimedia that we procure from some outside agencies, or internal objects that are developed in-house, where we digitize our traditional content and make it available in a digital library or in a digital repository. Or it could be we have content developed which is born digital, in fact. And also it could be made available through consortia, gateways, portals, directories. So just providing links to them, you again create a digital library facility, in fact. So in fact you have what we need to look into, how you bridge the digital divide and distribute resources just by in fact linking to the content that is already available in other digital libraries. Other characteristics, if you look into for digital economics, is another interesting thing is the ownership part. That is most important, because nowadays we talk about more of open access and licensing policies. Open licenses are what is coming in, and in fact that is something a lot of development is happening. In case of licensing, in fact we talk about actually digital rights management, how we manage the digital rights to restrict the access. Then another interesting thing is about the sharing. Cost can be shared, because in the consortium mode, if access is to be provided, individual institutions need not pay a huge amount. This is shared through a collaborative process. And as we go in fact we need to look into the economics of e-publishing, the processes that are involved in digitizing and the cost involved therein. Now if we are in the process of creating a digital libraries, then we need to also look into the areas of expenditure. So the major areas of expenditure are staff development, facilities management, operational expenses, and managing storage and delivery systems. When we talk about staff development, it could be that we recruit new staff with a new job description, or we go in for hiring people or taking services of already engaged people, or we go in for any kind of go in for consultants or any kind of staff. Talking about facility management, apart from building and facilities, it's the infrastructure management one has to look into, and from the point of view of operational expenses, it is the processing the digital content right from digitization process and the storage that needs to be looked into, and managing storage and delivery system. That is, we have to take a decision whether we are going in for in-house platform, or we are going to hire some service providers for hosting our services. So when we talk about cost estimates, so the areas of cost estimates are operational costs, organizational costs, and staffing costs. A deeper look into it. So when we talk about operational costs, that can be further divided into material cost, equipment cost, transport cost, and service cost. Then organizational cost, it covers the management related cost, administration related cost, organization development, overhead costs. And when we talk about staff cost, it could be full-time staff, we could be hiring part-time staff, it could be contractual staff for a period of the project that we are going to have, and also hiring consultants. Now coming to the digital library economics, so these costs can be also looked into from the angle of fixed costs and recurring costs. When we talk about fixed costs, it could be infrastructure cost or the variable cost. So when we talk about infrastructure cost, it will be mainly hardware and software costs. So if we are setting up a new digital library, then we have to have a infrastructure in place, which means that we have to invest in computers, scanners, etc. Software means the digital library software, repository software. It could be open source, or we go in for licensing. Manpower, again, already we talked about hiring staff. And timeline, like all costs have to be the impact of total project timeline, covering the timeline, in fact, project period, and also database development, that is the back end that has to be maintained. And when we talk about recurring cost, it could be the database maintenance that we go in for. So with this, we come to the end of the topic on economics of digital libraries. So in fact, what I tried to tell you is that when we talk about economics of digital libraries, like any other traditional libraries, digital content also are economic products, and they can be, we have go in for the pricing of the products and services as we do in case of a digital library. Thank you.